Oh yes, legends. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing fantastic. Let's analyze the situation here for the price of Bitcoin. Let's go. Hope you're doing great, legends. Let's see what is going on here with the price of Bitcoin. Now, we are getting a little bit of a pump right now. Nice 4-hourly candle for the moment. We can see also that pump here on the 1-hourly. We're going to come into some resistance. How far up can we go? It's looking pretty strong. Volume is increasing, so it does look like the price wants to attempt to go to higher prices. And going through the analysis, this range that we formed in the last 24 hours was looking very corrective, very choppy, and we're finally getting this pump to the upside. Are we forming a wave 3 here? And we get continuation to the upside, wave 4, wave 5. We'll be analyzing that, guys. Do we have high probability and getting a massive move to the upside, or is the move to the upside going to fail and turn around at a later stage? That is what I think is going to happen. So far so good. We are getting that move to the upside. Let me just quickly say hello to the beautiful community. Of course, we were ranging inside of this value area since the 5th of February, so over a month right now, or just about a month here in this range. We got squeezed in between the value area low and the point of control in the last 24 to 48 hours here in this little range, as it was looking very corrective, very choppy and overlappy. There was a good chance to take out this local high at 68.2k, and just now in the last hour could have got into a quick squeezy long position here, even though it's a little bit late, kind of a little bit of a trend line breakout, okay, to the upside to claim that high and see if the price is going to break out in a wave 3, get that follow through to go to higher prices. Let's go and say hello to the wonderful legends here. All right, smash up the like button if you do enjoy the content, guys. As explained, the new information is always crucial. New information on the chart day by day is crucial. As we got this pump to the upside here, this was on the weekend, Saturday into Sunday. Sunday, part of Monday, looking extremely corrective. Very, very choppy and overlappy structure. You got a nice strong move to the upside, very sideways, bull flag kind of formation, and now getting this pop to the upside. Are we going to reject already? Where are we rejecting? Well, volume is kicking in at the moment with this movement to the upside. And if volume kicks in, you need to feel a little bit chilled. This is not one of those movements. No swing failure pattern from the highs. We are in the middle, a bit of no man's land. Of course, we could create a quick swing failure pattern from this high. I would say that this pivot is an acceptable scalp short trade. If we do manage to reach it, just because we do have the value area high of the region, okay, could form an SFP. No SFP from this level, so I'm not interested in a quick short execution as of yet. I'm interested in shorts very much more now, unless you longed, I don't know, let's say that you longed here. We actually had some high volume nodes from here, or you longed somewhere today in this range, maybe a trend line breakout, keeping it simple, likely corrective. If we break out, you do have the point of control as resistance, of course. However, this was high probability corrective, okay? We can go through the internal waves here and explain why this was likely corrective. Nothing motive, lots of overlap, and now getting this move to the upside with increasing volume. So I am extremely interested in shorts. I'm more interested in swing longs, but interested in intraday short entries. And I'm going to explain a little bit what formation can we form here. If this ends up being a triangle structure, okay, we've talked about many triangle structures here, right from here, or even from these two, higher lows. We would have to reject basically from where we are at the moment. I would say if this does confirm itself to be a triangle, we can wait a little bit longer. I will be explaining what I need to see, because of course it is great to get into an E wave of a triangle. However, we're pushing up with high volume here. I'm not quite interested yet in the short. If this ends up being an E wave, we're just about to take out this high, so not interested. I would have to see a movement down here, pretty aggressive, and a corrective move to the upside. That's the moment that I'm interested in getting into the short. Trying to catch the pump with high volume into a short position is quite dangerous, okay? let's go through the comment section and then we'll break down the technical analysis. I got a very fishy message on Telegram. I usually don't get any haters at all, guys. But yeah, it was somebody very fishy about Elliott Wave is a bunch of rubbish and it doesn't work. And it might be somebody new or somebody that doesn't understand it. But anyway, regardless, we ain't here to talk about him. We're here to talk about the community, everybody here. Love from India. Much love, my man. Mind Pillar Markets. Yes, sir. Rebranding because of the fusion here with Devalt, who's an absolute machine. Okay, we combine very well together. Very similar way of reading the market. Okay, and Devalt's joined the team, of course, and we've combined forces. And of course, I had to change the name as the YouTube channel was named under my name, of course. What is causing the pump? What is causing the pump? Well, we're not sure what is exactly causing the pump, but what we can be quite sure is that this movement was high probability corrective. Okay, and in the markets we look for 3-wave structures or we look for 5-wave structures. For the moment, from this low we had 1 wave to the upside, very corrective structure. Now we're getting that 3rd move to the upside. We'll be breaking down everything and how I'm looking for the shorts, guys, because shorts are very interesting, without a doubt, because I do still believe, based on the analysis, that there is high probability that we do come to take out this low at some point, right? It doesn't have to be tomorrow, but at some point there's high probability in coming down below $60,000 in my personal opinion. Okay, high probability for that to happen. First of all, guys, quick disclaimer, of course, this content is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. The information provided is not guaranteed to be accurate or complete. Always conduct your own research before making any financial decision. None of my videos or live streams are financial advice. Okay, let's go through comment section, okay, quickly, and say hello to everybody that's joining the live stream right now. We're getting a little bit of pumpy action. Okay, we don't know exactly what's causing the pump. We do know that there's been these geopolitical tensions worldwide. There's been lots of noise going on, guys. I only left Dubai a couple of days ago and airspace closed on Saturday, so I just got out. Luckily, I would assume that everything's going to calm down in the next coming days and everything will resume to normal. Okay, I think it's just going to be a bunch of noise, but luckily I got out just in time, because if not, now people are kind of a little bit stuck, right? A little bit stuck there, trying to go to Oman or go to I'm not sure how to get out of the country. I think everything will settle down. I mean, should really. You just never know at the end of the day, right? You never know at the end of the day, but everything should settle down in the next coming days. I just managed to get out of UAE on Thursday, just 2 days before airspace closed and all of the different things that were happening there. So let me know in the comment section, what do you think? Anybody in Dubai or not? But things should be calming down there in the next coming days, in my opinion. Okay, hey, what's happening? So still worth trying to short from approximately 69.5k. Yeah, I'll talk about. I think there's no major rush here. Okay, there is one scenario that you do start an impulsive move from here. Okay, we'll break it down easily. It's just this information that we had in the last 24 hours was very choppy and overlappy, and we can go through it just so you can understand it, because on higher time frame, 1 hourly, 4 hourly time frame, there was some scenarios of a triangle, WXY, and a triangle. There is also the larger triangle. However, local information is always the most important, because it's going to give you that high probability next move, regardless if it's a pump of a few $1,000s or a dump of a few $1,000s. It's important, regardless of what patterns you have in this range that could be on the formation. Your next local information is very, very important, okay, which we will be breaking down today, 15-minute and 5-minute time frame, just so we get ready for the next higher probability movements. What I want to see, understanding the patterns that could develop, right? I do not know which one is exactly going to happen, but I do have 3-4 that could happen, and we can be ready to literally wait for those movements, and then I know the high probability movement that is next. Okay, that's what we try and do here on the channel, even though a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, just a small little bunch. I got a fishy comment today. There's a fishy DM on Telegram of someone not liking at all the analysis and Elliott wave theory. But what can we do, guys? You know, this is not for everybody. It's only for the ones that really understand it and see the potential and see the movements actually coming to fruition later on. They stolen handsome Andy. Yeah, well, seems like not looking too handsome today by the looks of things by someone here in the comment section. Mind Pillar Markets, that is correct. Okay, we got Devil on board. My name was on the YouTube title here, and we had to change it, of course. Pump to 108k. I wouldn't think we would go that high. 108k, don't think so. We'll go through the range. Seems like we could still continue being rangy, and overall, based on the information that we have here, there is still a high probability in taking out this high. we'll go through the higher time frame, lower time frame, and even as low as 5-minute time frame. Nikos Soapy, much love. Price is pumping. Let's go. I would still be very cautious. We might replay the same scenario from previous bear market where we passed beyond highs, but it dumped the very next day. Yeah, very true. Of course, we do have the resistance levels. We'll talk about that. Let's go. Mumtaz, much love to you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks, Andy, for doing live streams to guide us again. Much love to you, my man. Hi, Andy. When you turn bullish? Well, it all depends. It all depends. Of course, this zone, looking at the very lower time frame, was not a bad idea to attempt a long position to target the pivot high. Okay, so depends on bullish. What do you say as bullish, right? Bullish on the higher time frame? Yeah, not yet. Okay, this would take obviously a few months. We're in a bear market, but bullish very, very locally. If you understand what does look more aggressive and what looks more corrective in this case, then this was looking very, very corrective throughout the last 24 hours, especially throughout the last 5 hours. Throughout this range, you understand that this likely is something corrective. If it is corrective, then you have that chance to form that move to the upside to take out the local high, right? Form that three-wave structure. Is this three-wave structure going to be just a three-waver, end up topping out very, very soon and rolling over, or is it going to have power to form a third wave, right? And then you form the 4-5, right? That is the main question. That's what we're going to break down here throughout this live stream. And there will be opportunities naturally throughout this movement, understanding which one plays out, and we can break it down. You'll understand. Well, this one's playing out, so it's going to go down. It's likely going to go down, or this one's playing out, so it's likely going to go to higher levels. Okay, so we'll break that down now on the lower time frame. Legion, don't forget to smash up the like button on your way in. A trader, much love. Traders in Dubai loves to take the risks. Yes. Yeah. Just follow the BTC cause alts almost depend on BTC. Yes. Thank God, says King K. Yes. So thankfully you got out in time, Andy. God bless you. Yes, sir, I did. Yes. Kashmiri. Not going to say that out loud. You made it out just in time. Hope you are all settled and happy to be home. Absolutely, 100%. It's not even bad here in Dubai. People always overreact, being to the gym, shop, living as normal. I assume I've got lots of friends there in Dubai, and things are normal. Okay, it's just something of precaution that they closed the airspace in the last 2 days, and I think it's going to resume in the next 24 hours or 48 hours. That's I would really expect that, and things not to escalate. Right. The problem is nobody knows how far it can escalate. Right. Is it going to worse, or is it going to get better now in the next couple of days? If you ask me about, the probability side, I would say the probabilities is everything is going to get back to normal in less than a week. But, who knows? Who knows, right? At the end of the day, it's only probabilities. So, anyway, it is true that people overreact to that. And anyway, welcome back to Spain, Andy. Much love, Jane. Much love to you. Singularity X, how are you doing? I'm in Dubai. The explosions are scary, but apart from that, everything seems fine. I know. There's lots of noise. Remember, when you do see, I got so many messages, even from people here that, in Spain that are still, don't know that I'm back. What's going on? A lot of fear, a lot of, the deal, how it goes with the media, right? They'll make it look like there's war going on there. And apparently it's just a few missiles that have exploded. And it seems like, people are overreacting. It is true that, it might escalate. Why not? Why can't it escalate? I don't think it will. And anyway, I made it out of my short just in time, just like you did out in Dubai. Yes, exactly, Ash. Saludos, Andy. Lindo Dubai, pero nada como España. That is so true. That is so true, right? Dubai is fine, but there's nothing like Spain, right? Depending on where you live. Hello from Philippines. What's happening today? Are we buying? For the moment, we are pumping. We had a nice little move to the upside. I want to explain a little bit. There's going to be time to actually detect what is going on here. Okay, there is going to be time because even though, is this movement bullish, right? Is this a legit move up where it's going to break out, get to above 72K and beyond? That's what we want to study on today's stream, okay? And I just want to break down a little bit the 4 hourly time frame and analyze this structure right over here. I just want to make you understand that we are still inside of the range for the last almost 30 days. We're inside of the range, getting below the value area low, fake outs, right? Value area high, squeezed here in the last 24 hours between point of control. This is on Coinbase chart, and value area low. And of course, we do have the resistance zone, right? We got the fake out territory here of the value area high. Is it going to be bullish? What scenarios? First of all, let's talk about the most bullish case scenario that does hold the lowest probability. We were talking about this inside of the trading community, okay? Just yesterday evening, talking about how, there is low probability for this scenario, okay? Anybody that is interested in joining the trading community where we update every single day and talk about the possible setups, okay? Myself and Devil been very, very active the last few days as I settle in here back at home, but literally talking about the bullish case scenario, which is, moving and getting a breakout to the upside and getting continuation to the upside, right? With a wave 3, 4, 5, right? And going to well beyond 75K, maybe 80K even on the most bullish case scenario. It holds the lowest probability. And let's just break it down right away, right? Because, some people might say, well, this triangle, which ended up, believing that it's a bearish pennant, right? The average Joe, would say it's a bearish pennant, right? And it's going to break down, or maybe it's a pennant that's going to break to the upside and we go to much higher prices. It all comes to the movement here, the waves internally, okay? How many is there? Are they corrective? Are they impulsive? Do we have a combination of a WXY or triangles inside of the WXY, or just a triangle on its own? And that's why you're here. You're here to understand the movement of the market. So regarding the bullish case scenario, if you are forming something bullish from this low over here, and don't worry guys, later on the stream, we're going to break down the trading setups that I am looking for, okay? The new ones, okay? It's all good and fine. I've been in a couple of trades in this region, in this zone, right? And even a quick one here, just before the stream, market order, market execution as volume was kicking in, okay? I would say that this was an acceptable area to get into a trend breakout, attempt a long, stop loss at the low, 1.5 to 1 risk reward as a day trade, understanding that the range today was corrective. At the end, throughout the last couple of hours, you understand that this has low probability in being a motive wave, multiple 1-2s, just looks very, very corrective. And we'll break that down, of course, with the other new trading setups that I'm looking for throughout today and tomorrow. Okay, so bear with me. But first of all, probabilities in breaking up, because, you know, first of all, we need a directional bias, right? Is it highly likely that we pop out and go to, somebody was saying we're going to 108K, right? In the comment section. You know, I believe that that's not going to happen. You know, low probability for that to happen anytime soon. So the probabilities, right, for something very, very bullish is actually still very, very low. We are inside of the range. We, you know, literally haven't gone anywhere. We're still inside of the range. All of this does look like a combination of something corrective. Let's talk about the bullish case scenario for all of, you know, the bulls out there that are saying this is going to break to the upside. We've got lots of liquidity above the range highs at 72K. You know, a lot of people are either very, very bullish or very, very bearish. You know, I stay pretty neutral. I will have a favorite directional bias based on the information that I have on the chart, right? So, you know, my directional bias to the upside right now is not, you know, I don't think the price is going to be exploding out, because that's low probability. Why is it low probability? And this is why we need to explain all of this, right? There has to be a reason why it's low probability that we shoot up from here and go to much higher prices, right, in the coming days. One of the main reasons why is that this movement to the upside would have to be counted as your wave one, because from the low, this is your high of this range, right? You haven't got a high here or a high here. So this is your highest pivot from the bounce. Now, in the most bullish case scenario, you would want to see a wave one, wave two, wave three, four, and five, right? A big impulse on the formation. Now, we explained this a few days ago, but just for anybody that is new, well, we need to obviously talk about that just in case, you know, somebody has missed out on this higher time frame scenario. So if this is going to be a wave one, then naturally, which is your lowest pivot, right? Because you need to count your lowest pivot from the range as the potential end of a correction, right? With the combination of, you know, what's this combination? This could be a WXY double zigzag, okay? We ain't going to go through the lower time frames, but it is very possible. You've got a zigzag here, a flat scenario, and another zigzag down in a WXY. Your highest pivot, lowest pivot. If this is your wave two was created after the 5 Fibonacci time, okay? That's this red vertical line right over here. This low is almost 6 times longer, okay, than your wave one. That's very, very long in time. Now, I have to say, when it crosses the 5 Fibonacci time, it has higher probability on its own. Longer structures are higher, you know, the highest probability goes for a correction, okay? So it is more likely for this to be a wave X or a wave B, right? Something corrective rather than a wave two. Now, we are going through the bullish case scenario, so just by that, we crossed 5 times longer the low to the high here if we are speculating it's a wave one. So that already has low probability to be a wave two based on timing, and it would be highly likely for a wave B or a wave C. Of course, if it is a wave B, you could still take out this high, A, B, C, right? You're on the formation of your C wave. We'll go through that in just a second. So that's one of the, you know, main red flags here is time, right? It's not an invalidation, but it just decreases, right? It affects the probabilities that this would be a wave two. If that is the case, what you're looking at here is a wave one, a wave two, and, you know, do you create your wave three right now and it actually pops out very, very aggressively, or do you form another wave one and another wave two, right? And then the 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, right? To create that third wave. As mentioned, that holds the lowest probability. One of the main reasons is time. What is the other scenario? Why, you know, what is another scenario that affects the probabilities here? Well, that would be this movement that we had just a few days ago. From the low, if this is going to be your wave two, and right now we are speculating in this being another wave one and another wave two, well, what we do have here, okay, is the retracement coming down very deep, okay? It's a very, very deep retracement, okay, coming all the way down to the 0.9 Fibonacci, okay, well below the 0.88. So that is low probability also for a wave 2. Wave 2s usually do not go that deep. They are pretty deep in retracement. They go to the 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci. That is the common zone for the retracement for a wave 2. The moment you surpass the 0.88 Fibonacci, then that is low probability. So based on that information, very long wave 2, very deep wave 2 from this low, it is low probability to get that explosion third wave, right? 4 in 5 or double 1 2 3 4 5 4 5. Realizing as well, from this wave 1 that this is extremely long, over 5 times longer. Not the highest probability based on these two major factors. Okay, wave 2, very long. Your second wave 2 retraced too deep, right? Going beyond the 0.88, even hitting the 0.9 Fibonacci. As the 0.9 Fibonacci was hit, we have the possibilities of flats here. And that's one of them that we'll talk about right away. Okay, just to get ready for the possible rejection that could happen here, between today and tomorrow. So bullish case scenario, low probability. What is one that is very interesting at the moment? We had some scenarios such as the triangle. There's one triangle right over here that is still valid. That is your invalidation. Okay, let's just get the invalidation pivot here for this triangle that we are talking about right now. That lower high would be your invalidation. This triangle is this one right over here, where you have your A wave, your B wave. This movement down, higher probability for a B wave just because of the timing. Okay, it's more common for a B wave to be long than either your wave 2. Okay, that would be your wave C, wave D, and wave E, and that's your invalidation, which we are just a few $100s away from hitting. As explained, if I wanted to short the E wave of a triangle, because there is high volume coming in, yes, you can be kind of that guy that says, hey, if this is the E wave of a triangle, what you would be expecting is a lower high from this pivot, and your target zone would be below $60,000. It's all fun and nice if you manage risk. Can you afford a stop loss here? It all really depends on how much you're risking, but this would be your risk to reward if you're really looking for the E wave. As volume is increasing, you think, well, this is not the greatest idea. When you pump out, right, from a corrective structure and you're moving up with increasing volume, yeah, this could break out this high. It could go actually to slightly higher levels, a few $1,000s. Not really the best. So if you are trading a triangle, E wave, which obviously you are looking to take out $60,000 at some point, because that's the end of a pattern. It's the end of a triangle, the E wave. But this is super important. You need to understand that this is moving up with high volume. We are very close away from invalidating this triangle. How could I get in, with higher probability, right? And a bit safer, right? Where would I be confident in this to get into a trade? Because right now, yeah, it's pumping up with high volume. We could be breaking out in a wave 3 here, more internally from this move, right? This might be a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, right? And it just breaks out. We form a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here in the next coming hours between today and tomorrow. The way that I would trade this, okay, which I want to explain right away, instead of trying to, catch if it is going to be an E wave, it is true that it's going to give you the highest entry, very, very tight, small stop loss. Your target would be coming down below $60,000. I don't like it. I am very much aware that this could be a third wave getting developed, and it does break out a few $1,000s. What do I need to see is what I'm going to explain to you right now. If this ends up being a lower high, I need to wait for confirmation. How do I wait for confirmation? For the moment, you have a 3-wave move up here. You might guess that this is the high. It's going to form a lower high. Your invalidation is crystal clear. I prefer, based on this scenario, to get a rollover here, pretty aggressive. The moment you come down to this territory, basically the higher lows that we formed in the last few hours, this is going to confirm me that this is a 3-wave bounce correction. This would have to roll over in the coming hours. The moment you come down, you come to this territory, that is where it becomes interesting to look for this bounce right over here. This would be better to get a corrective structure in this zone, and this is where I would attempt a short position, because it just gives you higher probability, right? Higher probability entry. Of course, you're not catching the Pico top here, but you need to confirm that the movement up is corrective. How is it confirmed to be corrective? We just need to get down to this territory of the higher lows of the last few hours, sitting at 65.4K. The moment you get into this territory, you know that the bounce is very interesting, because you confirm that the movement up is a 3-wave structure. With that combination, you have the potential of an A, B, C, D, E being finished. Okay, and obviously that's confirming that the move up is corrective. Once you get that movement to this territory, that's where I would attempt the short position. It's just given me a higher chance, okay, a higher win rate success here to get down to this low, because I know that the movement up has been corrective, right? And I do get it. I was there before. Unless we swing failure pattern, I think these swing failure patterns, I would even attempt a swing failure pattern here on the live stream at this valley area high, where we have the pivot high here at 70K. Literally, we're just about to hit that level. And it could be a nice little scalp here. Okay, so we might get into a quick scalp here. I might get into a quick scalp if we do SFP, because we do have good confluence, valley area high of the range, and you got that wick high that was created last Wednesday. And for me, it's a valid SFP liquidity grab. It's a nice liquidity grab. You could get that correction, little scalp entry, good risk management, right? Because if you do SFP, you literally can put your stop loss above the wick, and you're looking for a quick day trade, maybe a 2-to-1 risk to reward. We'll have to see. But anyway, going back to this, okay, which is kind of a safer way to get into the trade here. Risk to reward is not that great if you are trying to catch the Pico top, but trying to catch the Pico top here, there is risks, right? You're moving up with high volume. What if this ends up being a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You're forming an impulse. We just don't know. We don't know. And there's other scenarios that take out the highs here at 70K and even, 71K, which I'm going to explain right away, which is going to be very interesting for that entry trade that I'm looking for in the next coming hours. I know there could be an opportunity for that short trade in the next coming hours. It's either going to be this one right over here, which we are very, very close and invalidating. Okay, it could still roll over. It could still roll over. We get to this territory, the bounce is where I want to get into the short invalidation, that pivot, and I would be targeting sub 60K. It's a matter of being patient. It's a matter of understanding who's winning the battle. The bulls or the bears. Bulls are winning right now throughout the last, couple of days in this range. We are moving up, forming some higher lows right there. This pump currently at the moment. When do the bears win the battle? Once you move down, get into this territory. This would have to move down in the next couple of hours. We don't want a continuation and break those highs naturally. Then this is not worth looking at this, because this would be completely invalidated. So we'd have to roll down very soon in the coming hours to claim those higher lows. Then I understand that this is corrective. This movement up is corrective. So looking for that rollover is going to be looking interesting. Okay, so that's one scenario. Okay, what if this triangle is invalidated? You know, we're talking about this triangle for too long and it's just about to get invalidated. Okay, so I'm just letting you know, just in case it rolls over from here right now, it does not claim that pivot high and it rolls over, takes out this low, and you correct to the upside. That's the short that I'm looking for. Stop loss at the high, roll over to take out this low. Okay, however, we're about to get invalidated. What am I looking next? How could this develop? I'm not in favor of the price breaking out and going to much higher prices, right? In the next couple of days, we go to, you know, say 80K, just to give a crazy price target. I'm not looking for that. You know, I don't think that the price is going to manage to push through here successfully. And what I'm looking to the upside is to get that exhaustion and then roll over. How can we detect that exhaustion, right? We've got value area high. I would say that this would be a quick SFP just as a scalp short position. You know, I do see that very acceptable here. By the way, as mentioned, you know, throughout the updates inside of the trading community, if you are interested, guys, it's super simple to join the trading community. Send me the word access in the Telegram down below and we can get you a few months for free. Okay, super easy requirements. You just need to sign up to either Bluffin, Velto, one of the affiliate links down below. Do a minimum deposit for your own trading and we'll get you in a few months in the trading community on Telegram. So right now we're coming up very, very close to the highs right there, right? Well, it's going to be invalidated. No triangle, right? For the moment, triangle, right? If you take out that high, is the one that we just talked about is invalidated. As I understand, based on the price action that we have here, the probabilities in breaking out very aggressively remain low based on the length of this wave 2, based on this retracement as well. Okay, as a wave 2, what are the bearish alternatives here, right? One of them that I would favor a little bit more, just in case the price does end up breaking out, gets to 72, 73K plus, right? What are the alternatives if I'm not looking for an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Would be an ABC, right? Why does this ABC have priority than either a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? One is because the B wave it's more common for a B wave to be more lengthy, right? 5 times longer, even though it is uncommon still, than a wave 2. But then you have this wave 1 and wave 2. You would say, well, that's hit the 0.88 Fibonacci. It's not an invalidation. It just decreases the probability for a wave 2. However, this one favors the impulse because instead of a wave 2 here, a wave B has higher probability, right? Based on the length. So if this is going to be a wave 1 and 2, I would label this as a B wave. Okay. Going with that local bullish case scenario is that you do get, of course, the breakout to the upside in an impulse. All right. Throughout the next coming days, you got your wave 1, your wave 2. Do we get this 1, 2, 3? This ends up being a little bit punchy throughout the next coming hours. We do go to 72, maybe 73, right? It's possible. Then you form that shallow wave 4, then to finish the wave 4 and 5, to finish that wave 3. 1, 2, 3. You would want a bit of a longer fourth wave in this region, and then the wave 5. You know, this is the kind of price action that I want to see here. I want to detect a 5-wave move to finish that third wave internally from this pivot low, and then form the wave 4 and the wave 5 here. And this is what I would be looking for, that wave C. I do get it. I do get it. It's like, oh, come on, man. But it's how the price moves. The moment you start slowing down with high volume and start chopping around is the moment that you realize that you're getting exhausted here, right? You've finished the move up. You're sweeping up the highs. It's time to look for a reversal. That's the moment when I get this information that I would be ready to get into a short position. If this is going to be the case where we do form a 5-wave move to the upside to finish that C wave, once we get that choppiness here in that third wave, I am looking for the double, triple tops. Could we get into a double top here? yeah, potentially maybe you form that larger fourth wave. I would just be ready for that double top here, because I understand it would be a fifth wave right out of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, we are looking for 5-wave structures, 3-wave structures, and we will realize the information here once we get that choppiness here in this zone, based on, you know, looking just for a larger ABC. Okay, so this requires a little bit of more information. As I give a few scenarios here. I give a few scenarios. This is naturally going to take a couple of days, easily. Okay, it's going to take a couple of days to develop. If we break those highs, we don't form an SFP, we continue trading above the value area high, well, then I have to look for that exhaustion. Wave 4, wave 5, the third wave finishing. The moment I know a third wave is finished is when the breakout with volume starts decreasing in volume and you start ranging. That is the moment that I know that, you know, we're looking for a reversal to happen here. Then I'm getting ready for the short positions. Is it going to happen or not? Well, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe yes, maybe no. If we do form this range as we get above 71, 72k, then I'll say, well, I know what I'm looking for, right? And this is why I'm here, right? We don't know which one is going to happen, but we do have, you know, the knowledge and how the price could move. Once we get into this choppiness above the highs, we understand that the third wave has finished, right? The high volume breakout that we are getting today, right? Yes, we got above the highs, let's say, and then we start ranging, start counting the waves, start counting the structure from this pivot low, A wave, B wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave to finish a C wave, right? To overall finish a larger 3-wave structure. Okay, so, you know, that's one scenario we could be looking at throughout today and tomorrow. So we need to be very much aware of it. What if this one doesn't play out, right? So, you know, I break down a few scenarios. That's your invalidation of the triangle. If you come down here, perfect, boom. You know, I'm looking for the correction, looking for the short, stop loss, looking for the rollover. I'm ready and planned for this scenario. If we continue to the upside, well, what I see is, okay, we're looking for the third wave, right? Then look for the fourth, fifth, right? That's what I'm looking for, A, B, C. Pay attention to the fourth wave correction. Once that high volume move to the upside starts going sideways, I'm looking for the 4 and 5. That's the moment I'm looking for the short. If we do get to 75k, I mean 75k is a very, very strong level of resistance. We do have the value area low of this range. I think we do have the anchored VWAP as well. Coming up to the anchored VWAP from the highs at 98k, you know, it's just a pretty damn good solid level. So you just add your confluence levels. It's coming in at 74k at the moment, anchored VWAP from that lower high at 98k. This is the double triple top zone. If this ends up being a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you finish your third wave, right? You're looking for a 1, 2, 3. You need a larger fourth, boom, 5, anchored VWAP. That's the moment you're interested in the double tops coming into this value area low of this region. It is also the 50% Fibonacci from your latest lower high that you have of this range. You got move down, lower high, move down. From this lower high, you do have 50% Fibonacci as well, which is coming slightly above the anchored VWAP at the moment. Anchored VWAP has moved down slightly below the 50%, but it's the wicky, choppy, double toppy zone, right? Exhaustion area to look for the rollover. Anchored VWAP, value area low of this trading zone. You got lots of support right there that you did form from the 1st to the 3rd of February. Lots of bounces in this region. You get exhaustion in this zone after getting that volume breakout. You know, that's the moment that I'm going to be looking for that rollover. Okay, so interesting area. This is how the price needs to develop. That's counting the possibility of forming that ABC. Okay, ABC, regular zigzag. We just need to finish that 3, 4, 5 in this zone. So it's a matter of being a little bit patient, sweep up the highs, get that exhaustion, and then I would be looking for that rollover. Other scenarios that we are looking for here, we need to zoom in on the 4 hourly would be still just as fine, still would be good here, guys. If you do enjoy the content, make sure to destroy the like button. We give different scenarios that I'm looking at, okay, understanding, if we take out this low without taking out this high, if we take out the high, what I need to see, right? Want to see that finished 3-wave move up, okay, sorry, that 5-wave move up to finish wave 3, then wave 4, then wave 5. We're looking for the rollover for an ABC, right? That's the moment of double tops, triple tops, looking at the anchored VWAP. We need to remain patient. There is a trade around the corner. Just need to remain patient to see what scenario is the one that is getting developed, right? The waves that, we are missing. I know exactly what I'm looking for here for the next high probability trade setup. So, for any longs, I have to say the only long position would have been in this territory. If you have a trend line breakout, this was high probability corrective. Okay, I did, sniper trade a long position on literally the pump as just before I was going to enter the stream here, understanding that this is lightly corrective and we could hit these highs. And, as we break out with high volume, then naturally, we could go to higher levels. My shorts got stopped out. Except for this silver long position that most profits were taken. Okay, there was a target zone at plus $92. This was mentioned inside of the trading community a few weeks ago. This was the beginning of February, where I was very confident in a bounce from the 70K region. Looking for 92K plus to be hit as a take profit, and kind of a failed breakout from that lower high, which I did not manage to execute here as a short position late Sunday or early this morning. But also a possibility here for a kind of failed breakout from this lower high. But I got stopped out from the internal shorts that I had, because naturally, if you've been shorting throughout the last few weeks, you're literally either at a loss or at break even, right? Because even if you shorted here, maybe here, right, price would be at entry. So the short that I did take, there was the latest one that I do remember was this one right over here. Most of the profits were taken already, so that got stopped out at break even. I'm currently not holding any short position, just this quick long position here in this region just before the stream, understanding that I was doing the analysis here for the stream. This is likely corrective, likely going to get that pop. So currently in no short, but I'm interested very much in a short. Most of the trades that I'm talking about today is looking for short. Long's not really interested at the moment, unless you're longed the potential wave 2 or the potential wave B. You're looking to get into the C wave or the third wave. I don't know which one it's going to be, right? But if this is a wave 1 or wave 2, I want to get into the third wave already. If it's a wave A and a wave B, I want to be inside the C wave already, right? This could form a lower high here and roll over. So for long positions, I have to say, there's no long here that I could take. There is no long position that I could take. My shorts got stopped out already from this region. And now I'm looking for a new short position, which is what I'm sharing on today's stream. So, those movements that we're looking at here. I've covered two scenarios. The one that is the triangle that does not take out this high, rolls down, takes out this low, bounces very correctively, looking for the short. Naturally, stop loss is the high invalidation. And then, finishing that ABC would be, that's your B wave, that's your wave 1 and 2. And then this would be 1, 2, 3. We don't know if it's going to get follow through, right? 4, 5. You get your fourth wave, and then you get the fifth wave, kind of a double top, and then you roll over. 5-wave move up, ABC. This requires a lot more information naturally. That could take a couple of more days. But the moment you get that slowdown is where I would be interested already to look for shorts. The double tops, detect that fourth wave, and the fifth wave is going to be the name of the game here. Coming into that anchored VWAP as well from 98k, right, which is coming into this region. Very, very interesting area, without a doubt, for shorts. What if, or the other scenarios that we do have here, because you know what we've countered right now with this movement to the upside, regardless of support and resistance levels, guys, right? We end up looking at the waves at the end of the day, because market moves in waves, and most of the times I don't have anything on the chart. You know, the more experience you have and the more you know how to read the charts, you know, you get off the indicators and tools and everything. You just get them out because you don't need them at the end of the day once you know how the price moves. Fibonacci and all of that is good, just to give you a little bit more of an accurate level, such as the 1.618 or the 7.8 fib, right, or the golden pocket. That naturally is used. I use it very, very much just to be accurate. But lagging indicators and all of that, you know that I don't use any of that, okay, or any moving averages or any of that. Only the anchored VWAP or the regular session VWAP. So with the other scenarios that we mentioned regarding the waves internally here, we talked about this pivot high, this movement up to be either a wave 1 or a wave A, and this to be either a wave 2 or a wave B. This either being a wave 1 and a wave 2, right, to finish 3, 4, 5. Other scenarios, naturally, you can fit in here a 3-wave move up, so that can be a wave W. There is still naturally in this complex rangy structure that this could be a wave W. That's a double zigzag and a WXY for your wave X, okay? And remember what I said, that it is better for a lengthy move, 5 times longer, to be part of a corrective move in a B wave or a wave X, okay, rather than a wave 2 of an impulse. So if this is going to be a wave X right there, we still have Y. How can Y be developed? All right. How can Y wave be developed? If you have a zigzag in a wave Y, your corrective move in a wave X on its own is a WXY. Then you have, a couple of scenarios here, naturally, that could play out. There is that possibility that you just about take out these highs and even maybe stretch to these highs right over here and then roll over to finish your Y wave. That is looking for a regular flat, this right over here. Now, because you retrace down to the 0.9 Fibonacci, okay, 0.9 Fibonacci was hit. That is your minimum target for a flat structure. We do have the low, we do have a W, you do have your wave X. A flat here is very possible. There is the potential of just taking out those lower highs to claim the liquidity and then roll over throughout the next coming days. There is that potential. Let's talk about how could this develop between today and tomorrow, because it is important. For the moment, we just have a 3-wave structure to the upside from this pivot low. There is only a 3-wave move up, and inside of an ABC flat, your C wave needs to be a 5-wave move to the upside. For the moment, there's only 3 from this pivot low. So this, in this case, cannot be the top of a C wave of this flat, because you only have a 3-wave structure. What we are missing now, remember, we still have the triangle. If you do not take out this high and you roll over, you might think, well, that was the high of the C wave. Well, no, we still have the triangle structure here, remember. In an A, B, C, D, E, this could be the top of your E wave if you don't take out this high. So, if we roll over from here and take out these higher lows in the next coming hours, confirming that this is a three-wave structure. This would not be the ABC flat. I would be giving priority to the triangle, okay? And this is the top of an E wave. So in this case, what do we need to see? If you do hit the 0.9 Fibonacci, 0.9 Fibonacci to the 1.5, which is just barely taking out the start of the A wave, is for regular flats. Regular flats do take out the high of the A wave. However, you don't usually expand to the 1.618. Okay, 1.618 is from an expanding flat. So if I take Fibonacci extension, bear with me here guys, because we'll come to the end result of the target zone. If I take the start of the A wave to the end of the A wave to the end of the B wave here, as we have hit the 0.9 Fibonacci, okay, perfect, minimum target for a flat, and that's obviously a regular flat. Regular flats take out the high of the A wave, okay? However, they do not usually extend too much, and not extending too much is just getting in between the 1-to-1 and the 1-2-3-6. Okay, extension, you get your Fibonacci extension A, B, and C, right? That gives you the extension target. As you can see, between the 1-to-1 and the 1-2-3-6, it's literally just taking out, you know, potentially this wick high and even maybe this wick high over here. Could it hit this high? Absolutely. You know, that's still a regular target zone for a flat. However, 1.618 extension is not, okay, the common target zone for a regular flat. That would be an expanding flat. So I'm not expecting, if this is going to be the scenario that we are forming, that this movement to the upside, you know, unlikely, if it is going to be this count, that this is an ABC flat. And this is why it would be crucial to understand, if you take out the high, you know, I'll explain that now in just a second. Not expecting 1.618, just expecting to get above, you know, the 1-to-1, literally hitting above this high, maybe even above, you know, 71k, but not much more. How does this need to develop? As we know that a wave C needs a 5-wave move up. For the moment, we've got 1, 2, and 3. This 3 is already stopping here a little bit. So we got, you know, a little bit of signs. It's still very soon, of course. You know, we literally just not even closing the 1 hourly candle here yet. What we need to see is, you know, a 4th wave of some point. Preferably, if this is going to be a wave 3 right now, let me just get these boxes out of the way because, you know, got a little bit of noise here on the chart. Preferably, if this is going to be an ABC flat to finish your WXY, we're looking at the last stages here. If this is your A wave, this is your B wave, we need a 5-wave move up here. If it is going to end up being an impulse, what I need to see is this movement to extend a little bit more, okay? Let's extend a little bit more in a wave 3. Volume still increasing, get another punchy move up of $1,000 to $2,000, take out this high, maybe even this high, because this would be a little bit too small to be a wave 3 right now. You know, we're literally almost the same length from this movement up that we had on Saturday, right? Not even the same length, it's even smaller. So preferably this punches out if it is going to be a wave 3. You know, we want that punch out. No big major corrections. The moment you start correcting here, we're going to, you know, you need to start considering 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. And then, yes, we could say, okay, your C wave finishes here. But ultimately, we need a little bit more upside if we want to count the C wave as an impulse. So far, it's not doing great. So a little bit of more upside. Then you want that sideways correction without overlapping the high, because that's your invalidation. And then once you get that sideways momentum, corrective structure that does not overlap that pivot high of Saturday, that's the moment that I'm looking for the double top. If I can detect that this movement, all right, retraces, goes sideways, I can label it as a wave 4. then once you break out that little channel, bull flag if you wish, I know that there's a high probability in forming a double top, because that's the moment that I understand that I have a 5-wave move to the upside here, and I have the flat. Okay, even though I like shorting the top of the 5th wave, okay, the best way to trade that is looking for that double top from your 3rd wave, so you kind of break out from it, and then obviously you get down, you end up breaking to the downside. I'm looking for that 5th wave. That's what I'm looking at here. So yeah, this, we don't know, maybe if some volume increases, we go higher, we go to 71k potentially. I need that rangy corrective structure so I can label a wave 4. If I can label that wave 4 here, then the next push up is going to be the one that I'm looking to enter that short on the failed breakout of the wave 3. SFPs from this pivot is valid. SFP from this pivot is valid. Because once you get wave 4, I mean, yeah, wave 5, will it SFP from the highs of the 3rd wave? Or it might SFP from this high or this high. Doesn't matter. I know that this could be the end of this sideways corrective structure that we've developed now for over 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks right now. And you know, the big move is happening, right? As is likely going to happen at some point in the coming days, because we are coming to an end stage here. This has been ranging for many weeks. We're coming to the end stages based on timing, combining the waves, right? Very likely coming to its end stages, and we could be days away to either, for me, in my opinion, you know, come down to 60k, or get the pop to the upside, which I'm leaning it's low probability based on what I've explained, right? So yeah, this is what we need to see here, literally. Exhaustion, bit more upside if we're going to label this as a wave 3. If we do not get more upside and we correct between today and tomorrow in a wave 4 to then look for that 5th wave, looking for an SFP. If we get this kind of price action, SFP either here, or either the 3rd wave high. On that 5th wave move, that's the moment of looking for an SFP. It will be the moment. You just need to be ready. If you don't SFP from this one, I'm looking at this one. If you're not getting an SFP from this one, this lower high from the 15th of February, then I need to look for this one. You know, one of them will likely SFP. Which one will it be? Well, you just need to wait for the price action to hit it and reject from it. So I have a valid entry, right? Entry, stop loss above the wick. And this price action is very, very important right now for me to understand, you know, where I want to get in, right? I want to get into the 5th wave of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect 5th wave. Can SFP from one of these pivot highs. So that's one scenario, of course, as well. Still need information. I've got all of these scenarios saved up, right? So I know which one I know which one I could be looking for. I don't know which one is going to play out, but I know how to find it, right? And this would be a little bit it, right? Because your question, well, none of your scenarios played out. It's not about none of your scenarios. You might have joined the live stream in the last 10 minutes and you missed out on, you know, the triangle is still valid. If you don't take out this high, you take out this low. I'm looking at the correction, looking for a short trade. Okay, there's a few scenarios. We just need to know how to look for them for that high probability setup. We don't need to form a motive wave structure in an impulse, right? Right now, I've been covering their impulse. A little bit more upside, the wave 4 and the wave 5, right? That would be the impulse. Looking for a potential impulse developing here. It might not be an impulse. It doesn't have to be an impulse. Most commonly, it is an impulse, right? And a C wave. However, it could be a contracting diagonal. That is also very, very possible. If you do get that rejection from here, okay, and then another spike to the upside, it could turn out that it is a contracting diagonal. And you're looking for that 5-wave move up. So it is still looking for one more move up, despite if you do correct from here, Or you push out, correct in a wave 4 later, and then the wave 5, and that's the one you're looking for. Remember, we are looking for that ABC. However, we need a 5-wave move up in the C wave. We haven't got that. We've only got a 3-wave move up. So we still need a retracement, shallow retracement in a wave 4, and then another wick high. We are missing 2 waves here, which is the 4 and 5 to finish a C wave in the flat. As explained, maybe it's a ending diagonal. If we do retrace here, we overlap from this pivot, we form a very shallow higher low. We could be looking for an ending diagonal in a wave C to finish this flat of your Y wave of this WXY. You know, we're missing 2 waves. Where are those 2 waves going to happen? Will it be in a diagonal or will it be in a regular impulse? I do not know, but I do not need to know. What I need to see is either the continuation in the 3rd wave, which pops out a little bit further, as explained in the previous scenario. What I need to see is the wave 4, because the wave 5 is the one that I'm looking to short, regardless if it is going to be a impulsive move or if it's going to be, right, that diagonal here as explained. I do not need to know which one's going to play out here. I know I'm missing 2 waves. I'm missing the 4th and the 5th wave, right, which is either this one or either this one. In the bullish case, we extend a little bit more the 3rd wave here, which could pop out, right, a couple of $1,000s. I don't need to know which one is going to happen. What I need to see is the correction. I need to see one more correction, regardless if it is the impulse or the diagonal, is the one that's going to open the door for me to short the 5th wave. 5th wave, it is common that it does not break out successfully from the 3rd wave. You're going to, move up maybe $1,000 in this case. But that's why you need the SFP levels. Do we have some? Absolutely. There's an SFP level here. There's an SFP level here. Once you get that 4th wave correction as explained, 5th wave, time to look for the double top, time to look for the SFP. That's the moment I want to get into the short. And SFP is a guideline, right? The pivot highs as liquidity grabs are guidelines, because you might get this SFP, which I'm saying, this is a decent scalp. You're hitting the value area high, but just be aware that, you're probably going to SFP from here, but you form a pullback of $1,000. And then, people might be shorting late, putting stop loss above the highs. And then what happens is that you get the 5th wave, stops you out, and then you roll over. So we are interested in shorting the SFP, the stop loss hunt, right? Which is that 5th wave. If this is going to be the pattern that is developing, ABC flat, ending diagonal, or we continue here in the wave 3, we just go higher, maybe $1,000 or $2,000, wave 4 and then wave 5. SFP from this pivot. We got the wave 4, looking for the wave 5, right? You're looking for the wave 4 and the wave 5. When is it going to happen? I don't know. You don't need to know. That's the beauty, right, of it as well. You don't need to know when it's going to happen. When it happens, you will know. When it happens, you will know, because you're not interested in the 4th wave. You're interested in the 5th wave. And to get the 5th wave, you need to develop a 4th wave, right? Which is usually shallow and rangy. And that's when the 3rd wave stops, right, with a high volume. We'll know when it happens, right? So it could be interesting next few hours, because that's something that could develop. Either this diagonal, or either, this pops out a little bit further, and then the wave 4 happens, in the next coming hours. This punches up another $1,000, $2,000. When it stops and ranges, that's when you know that you have that wave 4 likely being developed. I don't know, and I don't care where it happens. I just know, when it happens, it's going to be there. You're going to see it. So you just need to be ready for that next pop to the upside. You know that this wave is likely the one that is going to fail. You either fail with the double top of your third wave, right? You just look for that entry short, stop loss above the high, or you look for the SFP from this wick high, depending on when, wherever it is, right? We just don't know. You've got a couple of SFP levels here for that fifth wave. We're quite close from this one, so it might even be this one, or the double top from your third wave. So it's just giving a little bit of, hinting here where it, how, what we are looking for, basically, right? What we are looking for. So, quick little tap into that pivot right now. Quick little tap as a quick SFP. We'd treat this as a little scalp, little scalp to the downside. Anybody that's entered, you got a very, very tight stop loss. It's a scalp trade, basically. You're looking for a 2-3 to 1 risk reward and protect position right there on this wick high that we had last Wednesday. It just gives you a good execution and a very, very minor stop. Very, very minor stop, as you can see. If you get that pullback, naturally, you're not entering a short here on an SFP. You either take that, you either get in at the highs. If you pull back down, $500-$600, you don't get into the short here. So you either catch the Pico top of the SFP or you don't, right? If you're not in already, you don't want to enter after a $500 drop. Anyway, you guys know that. I know most of you do know that already. But I would treat it as a scalp. Invalidation is extremely small. And it's just worth the risk to reward. Anyway, we've covered here a little bit the higher time frame, 1 hourly, 4 hourly, 1 hourly time frame scenarios in this range. We literally covered them. That's the main scenarios that I'm looking for here, guys. Okay, those are the main ones that I'm looking for. Could this be a flat? We still need to finish the third wave. You need a 4 and a 5, either a diagonal, ending diagonal, or either this extends a little bit more. Your wave 4, wave 5, still looking for that ABC regular flat. And the triangle has been invalidated at this moment. This is why when you shoot up with high volume, it's not ideal. Understanding that you have other scenarios and you're moving up with a little bit of punchy volume here, right? This did create, after this, breakout, punchy volume, increasing, a bit of no man's land, no major levels here. If you want to get into a 3-wave move, you want to short the triangle E wave. When you're moving up with high volume, you just don't, for me, it's not the greatest. If you do detect that you break out, the thing is about this breakout, imagining that this was the triangle structure, just a little tip here. Let's say that this was a triangle, right? And it ended up being a triangle. What you want to look for, if you're speculating on the E wave of a triangle, if you break out with a big shooting move up here with high volume, I'm not too sure about this. I don't think I want to short here the E wave because we're breaking out this high volume. However, if we would have moved up today to take out this high, and we formed this similar price action that we formed here, right? If we moved up like this, I would have considered saying, we're getting a bit of choppiness, a bit of sideways momentum, and it's worth a shot. you're getting exhausted. There's not too much volume. It's getting choppy. If you would have moved up today like this and get that little range under this lower high, somewhere in this region, so literally, trying to mirror this kind of price action here, you're getting exhausted. There's a low volume, move up is getting choppy. Yeah, absolutely. Why not an ABC here, after getting that price action is very, very possible. So it's important to understand, when it's in your favor and when it's not in your favor, because as explained at the beginning of the stream, this is moving up with high volume. This could push to higher prices because it could be a third wave, literally, right? So yeah, it was not really too in favor here of the E wave of a triangle with this pop that we've had in the last 2 hours. Pretty aggressive move up, high volume. Is this going to be an ABC? Why not wait for the movement down, confirm that it is a three-wave structure, and then this looks very corrective, then I can short here. I would rather short here than either fighting a pump with high volume, right? Just so you know, if we would have moved up here without taking out this high, very similar to this price action, then why not? We could attempt here, as you do get that choppiness, right? If you start chopping like we had here, right, on Saturday night, you know what? It's chopping, it's getting exhausted. That could have been the short. But when you move up with high volume and you're just punching out, not my cup of tea, right? It's not my cup of tea here with high volume and fighting the pump. SFP here, not bad. It is creating a little bit of a swing failure pattern. This is a sniper trade. It's a good entry. It's a good risk management. You're hitting the value area high. You're wicking above that pivot. It's a good quick entry, sniper short, and you can manage risk like a beast here, right? It's just your stop loss is so small after wicking above that high. The risk to reward already it's a bit of a sniper trade, but you get the deal. You guys know how these SFP, the game of the SFP. If you're moving down right now, as mentioned, you don't want to short as you move down. You either short here in a matter of a minute or two, and your risk to reward is already larger than your stop loss, right? So you got a few seconds up to almost a minute here to get into that short and be defensive on that SFP. So it's a very very valid SFP level, just because you got the value area high as well. It's the pivot high that we had last Wednesday. So it's a very, very valid entry, and the risk management is top notch risk management here on that SFP. Stop loss is above the high. There's no more to it, right? So you can be defensive. If you form a high or low here, wick above the high, you just get stopped out at break even. If not, take it as a scalp, as mentioned. The moment you get a 2-to-1 risk reward, these are little scalps, okay? No big moves here. Let's go right away. Powell is speaking in 1 hour. If no cuts, I think it could be bearish on price. We shall see. Interesting to see that there is the liquidity. Liquidity's just been swept, actually. We've got some liquidity here. Hang on a minute. Let's see if we do. I'm pressing the wrong buttons here. Liquidity sweep here. Already above 69k. We have swept some liquidity up there. There was some pretty decent liquidity in this region, which has been swept. So, the price is still rangy. Price moving up right now, so people may be getting a little bit excited, but I'm not that excited for any successful breakout based on the scenarios that I've explained, okay? Higher time frame scenarios in this range for the bigger movements, getting into an SFP little scalp, right? Getting into a trade of a few $100, maybe $1,000 move down, right? Could it be the high? Could be so, but I'm more interested in the bigger move to the downside and just literally explaining how we can detect that, okay, to maybe hit $60,000. We're looking for the 4/5s, okay, literally combination with this movement. All of the main scenarios have been explained, and explaining the most bullish one, which is really popping out in a third wave here in the coming days, is low probability. Okay, it's low probability. Let's go right away through the comment section. Okay, give me just a second. I'll get a drink of water. Make sure to smash up the like button. It is time for comment section right now. Much love, Paz Maria Vallejos. Smash up the like button. Let's do a like button recount. I'm go around the table, get a drink of water, and yeah, let's get to 200 likes, guys. And thank you very much for joining today's stream. I will go through comment section right away and see what the people are saying. If there's any other patterns, any other markets that you want me to take a look at, smash up the like button. Remember, if you are interested in joining the trading community, daily updates, looking for daily setups as well, you do have the Telegram down below. Send me the word access. You just need to sign up to one of the affiliate links down below, Bluffin, Belto, minimum deposit, and that's for your own trading, of course, and we'll jump you inside of the trading community. I'll go through comment section right away, and we'll be back in 10 seconds. Okay, let's go. Anybody attempted this little SFP that we do have from that lower high? It's a valid entry. It's a valid entry here on stream. Not a bad quick little entry on that SFP. Movement down of almost $500 at the moment. Very, very valid. It was a very valid SFP. Yes, I did. Doc One, much love to you. Andy said low probability. That definitely means it will happen. Seems like you haven't been long enough here, my man. You are so lucky you are in Spain now. Yes, very, 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 very lucky. Very, very lucky, actually. Just missed out on airspace being closed by 2 days. If I would have got my flight here 2 days later, I would be stuck in Dubai. But, you know, as mentioned, I wouldn't expect things to escalate. Well, who knows, right? But, you know, I've literally have no idea why they would basically strike Dubai. But anyway, it's happened. I would assume that everything's going to go back to normal there. So, yeah. Andy, can you look at gold, please? We can take a look at gold. Why not? Andy, if I may ask, why did you go back to Spain? Just not happy there. Not happy. I got friends and family here, missing friends and family a lot. Okay, and it's just not my vibe. I already said that I would be just moving to Dubai for a few years. I wanted to extend it a little bit longer, but you know, it's there's more in life than you know, just saving in tax and money, guys. So, you know, the main reason why I left there is because I don't need to be there, and just wasn't happy, and entered in protected position already. Paz Maria Vallejos, much love to you. Still would treat it as a scalp, okay? Still would treat it as a scalp. If you can collect, you know, some profits, it is a scalp entry. Well, you know, definitely leave some open. I would so anyway, and with position protected. But it was a valid entry for a scalp. Better culture in Spain, says Nico Sopi. Yeah. Got a double top short on the 4 hourly. See, Scalp. Double top on the 4 hourly. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice... We know it's a liquidity game at the end of the day. So you did get above that wick high from Wednesday. It's just a very, very valid textbook SFP. You know, when you add the confluence, it is the value area high of the range. Just a very solid entry, just for a nice little move of a few $100s to the downside. Was very, very likely to happen. So it's just very, very good, quick execution. Can't beat the love from your country, people. It is very true. Yeah, Vegas Claw. Yeah, it's just personal thing. You know, it was just very personal. Just decided that, you know, it was there 2 years. And just wasn't feeling it. Met a lot of great people, not so great people as well. And tired of the noise and traffic, and everything works really well, I have to say, in Dubai. Everything, all the services and everything's very clean, very safe. But, you know, I'm a country guy. I like the country vibes and the Spanish vibes as well. You know, there's nothing that can beat that. I've visited so many countries. And you know, I wouldn't change Spain for anything, if I'm honest. So yeah, be happy. Money is not all. Exactly. Yeah, B-boy Alvaro. Oh, where are you originally from, Andy? B-boy Alvarado. Oh, boy Alvarado. I thought it was B-boy, which is a break dancer. I'm originally from Spain, and my mum's from the Isle of Man. Okay, so half Manx, half Spanish. Are you looking for a short on silver? I didn't get into the short on silver, but was very much... somebody said, can we take a look at gold or silver? But maybe some of the trading community did enter. You know, the idea here was to get above this wick high, which is the TP zone, because I have been long on silver. Most of the profits have been taken here. It was a target zone that was mentioned inside of the trading community, and the option of forming a swing failure pattern or a failed auction from that wick high was very available. However, yesterday we did not create the failed auction. We were trading above this high. Potentially today, some people, right? Because we, you know, inside of the trading community, the info is given, right? We give info, you know, I'm looking for the target here to get above, in this case on silver. You know, I am long on silver, and I am looking for silver to get above $92 an ounce. And that's my main target zone. Most of the profits have been taken off this long position that, you know, we talked about this bounce at the beginning of February. So it's a swing slow long position, and you know, looking for, you know, 92 plus to be hit, which is this box right over here, you know, still remaining in the long. And it could SFP, right? This is actually an SFP level. Just information that we give, right? It's not only Bitcoin. I'm integrating other markets as well, which are relatively slow. You know, there's updates, a few updates a week, but it's mainly swing trading perspective. You know, it's not these quick little scalps, SFPs, this, that, the other, try to get into 5 trades a day. It's a chilled analysis, swing trading perspective. And this did take over 3 weeks to bounce from the $70 region to get to $92 an ounce. So, you know, this is a zone. You've got a high volume node. You know, you can fail the breakout here. I was just, you know, letting the people know that yesterday profits have been taken of the long. We're not creating that failed auction yet. Yesterday we were trading above $92 on silver. Could it create a failed breakout? Of course it can. You know, that was the main idea. You know, this is an SFP failed auction level. You know, major resistance. So the breakout was weak here on silver, but it was only today that we got back below the pivot, right? So, in a nutshell, we actually back tested it as support. If you wants to enter the short is kind of here, stop loss is here. Larger pullback on silver throughout the next coming days. Very possible, of course. Yeah. This is very, very common to get that SFP or failed auction, failed breakout, literally, from that dead cat bounce high. It's just a very, very common area to create that, SFP or failed auction in this case, because you did break out. It wasn't a wick. We maintained, many hours above the level, and just today it's just when we broke down. So, the execution of this short of a failed auction is not that easy. It's relatively complex, but you would have to wait for that, breakdown beneath that zone for the entry pivot. I missed it. I didn't get into this short position, but ultimately I would target the higher lows here. Ultimately I would target these higher lows as a TP1 if you got into the failed auction. Yesterday we did not create the SFP. We were trading above it, so naturally I can't short it. We did come into some order blocks here, possibly 4-hourly order block, maybe 3-hour order block. No, 2-hour, 1 hour. Yeah, a bit of an order block right there, which is literally where just a little range that formed resistance. Was not interested in it entering this short here. If this is going to be some kind of a bullish 5-wave move from this pivot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it is common to get, beneath the 4th wave zone. If we're treating this as an impulse, right, from this pivot, not from this one, we're looking at the latest move up after the correction. It is common to get, below the 4th wave. So yeah, I missed out. This happened a few hours ago today. So I did not get into the short. If we do form a little bit of a, correctively bounce, especially without sweeping up these higher lows, I would consider the back test and then down, because would be looking for a 3-wave move, regardless if it's going to be a 3rd wave breakdown here on silver, or maybe a ABC. It doesn't matter, but back test, a little bounce to consider the short position, stop loss at the high. You're just looking for that 3-waver to sweep up these lows, regardless if it's going to break down or just form a correction ABC, right? We get that bounce and we continue going higher later on throughout the next couple of weeks. Yeah, another longs were interesting in the last few weeks. I think shorts, naturally, after claiming this high, failed auction. I think just because we have a very aggressive move down, if we do get that bounce in the coming days, I very, very likely see a back test, lower high, to form a 3-wave structure down. So I would be patient for that bounce if I wanted to consider a short, because I missed the short here. So I just need to be patient for the bounce on silver. Good thing that silver can be traded on all of these different exchanges. I mean, Bluffin does have silver and gold. BTCC does have silver and gold as well. And you do have great bonuses down below, guys. Okay, these are affiliate links. Okay, Bluffin, BTCC, that you can trade gold, silver, using crypto, which is absolutely phenomenal. Okay, for all those people that use stable coins, right, to trade other markets, you can do so here, and you got the greatest bonuses available on these exchanges that I use. Okay, also, if you sign up, you do get access to the trading community, guys. Okay, so just send me the word access in the Telegram and we can jump you inside of the community if you follow the instructions. Are you in Barcelona? No, I am not. Legend, let's have a party in Mallorca. Absolutely. Andy, pull that guy from Telegram up. Yeah, I do have it here somewhere, but I got a very, very fishy DM from somebody. Elliot Wave, your analysis is BS, and Elliot Wave is BS, and this, that, the other. And it's just, I know Elliot Wave can be very, very complex and very boring and difficult to understand, but it's for sure, it does give you that edge. it does give you that edge, knowing to get into the highest probability entries at the end of the day. And it's good for risk management, but I won't pull him out because I don't want to call anybody out here on stream from a DM on Telegram. It's just somebody that was not very nice to me. So I said, hey, chill out. What's going on? If you don't like it, then it is what it is. We did talk about probabilities, levels, and obviously Elliott wave theory is one of the topics that we talk about mostly here on the channel, just because it really is how the market moves. We just have many scenarios, and we just break down a few of the scenarios and be patient to see which one is going to play out, so we can I can take that position. Jupan, much love. What do you think of the higher time frame? We are in a WXY. X ended at 65k in a triangle, and now we are developing wave Y in a regular ABC as Y. Right, what do you think about the higher time frame? We are in a WXY. X ended in 65k in a triangle. Right, what higher time frame? I assume this would be 4-hourly or daily time frame, but let's try and cover that scenario right away. Triangle end at 65k. Wow, you're gonna have to right. Okay. Right. Yeah, this probably might work. This probably might work. A, B, C, D, E. Right. I can see it. I can see which scenario you are talking about. So if wave X finishes here, and literally the triangle, if I'm not mistaken, you are talking about this one right over here. So internally, it is a valid count. C, D, E. It is. So yeah, at the end of the day, you're looking for that triangle. Sorry, my bad here. A, B, C. Yeah, I mean, your A wave would be extremely long. And it is not quite common for an A wave to be the complex WXY. I mean, yeah, you could maybe fit an ABC here. There was a diagonal here that could have been fitted. Flat MB or flat WXY, and this is your maybe, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to do the micro counts now, but an ABC here, a regular ABC could be possible, because in a triangle you want 4 out of the 5 waves to be simple zigzags, and you could get a simple zigzag here potentially if you fit a diagonal here in this zone. This is a very valid count. It is a very, very valid count. Naturally, that wave Y, we would still need quite a bit of time here eventually, because in this case, if your wave X is a triangle, wave Y can be a zigzag. It is very valid. It would be very, very valid. It would be very, very valid, of course. So as explained on the other scenarios that we talked about today, which is considering this move a flat, you would still look for a 5-wave move up here in this case, but starting from here. So could you do this, and then you move out here and you form an impulsive move to form your A wave, your B wave, right? And then your C wave to form that double zigzag WXY. It's a very valid count. It is a very, very valid count here. Naturally, your target zone, I mean, hitting 1-to-1 would be coming all the way up to 77k. This is going to take a bit of time to identify. Okay, I wouldn't be like in favor of this scenario as of yet. But if we form an impulsive move from this pivot that is very countable, corrective structure. Once we get this movement, I would start considering this scenario quite a lot. Very, very valid. Good point right there, where your triangle finishes at 65k, zigzag up, A, B, C, D, E, and then a zigzag up in a wave Y. You know, I will start considering this, especially here on YouTube, if we do move like this in the coming days. Okay, spot on, my man. Very, very good. Very, very good detection right there. This is the thing when you are ranging so much and there's so much overlap, you can really fit several scenarios still in this range. We were covering a few of them already, right? A flat here to finish that WX and a wave Y. You know, that's one of them. That one that you just mentioned as well, or a regular ABC. You know, the counts are many, right? And it's in our best interest to really detect the end stages of a count. So as mentioned here, we could still form that diagonal, and then that's the top and it moves down, right? So naturally you want to try and short the fifth wave. We don't know if it's going to be the one, because you know, you might correct down from here. However, you form that 3, 4, 5, boom, you know, we get an SFP from this pivot. You move down, okay, all good. It doesn't matter. You know, I attempted the short from that WXY. We formed the flat, right? So in this case, it's this WXY, right? At the end of the day, you know, potentially forming that ABC flat here. I get into the short on that fifth wave, regardless if it's an SFP from that pivot or a double top of the third wave. And I'm in the position, we start rolling down. Naturally, what I want to see here is the top of the WXY, the top of the C wave. Then I want to target 60k. What I want to see from here is a 1, 2, 1, 2, right? And then 3, right? We start breaking down naturally. So, but what if we do form a corrective move? And then, you know, price ends up moving up. Of course, once we start moving down and my position is in profit by 2-3 times my stop loss, I don't want to turn that into a losing trade. I want to see the price really, you know, falling down here with either 1, 2, 3 or multiple 1, 2s and ending up breaking down. So I am positioned for that bearish scenario that has been explained. If it gets stopped, you know, it would be protecting once we get moved down, maybe take a bit of profits. But it's understanding the entry, right? And the potential. You know, at the end of the day, if this turns out to be corrective, once you get that move up, you start ranging, then you're like, you know what, maybe this was not a flat, right? Maybe it wasn't a flat. However, I'm in my entry, I'm managing risk. You know, I have the downside potential of this trade. It's all, you know, it's all about executing the trade with good risk management and knowing the potential of the trade as well. If it doesn't play out, then we'll have to move on and look for another pattern, another setup, right? But very good point here from somebody detecting that triangle that could be the X wave. It's very, very valid. I don't like the A wave too much, but it's valid. Very, very much, my man. Andy, you're a great teacher. Keep it up. Many people learn with help of you. Elliott Wave Analysis. Kashmiri, thank you very much for the kind words. Much appreciated. How about Silver Andy? I am reading an ABC correction where we could just be starting B. Now, I am looking for re-enter when B is done and C starts, hopefully to $150. Yeah, on silver. 150. So if you're looking for an ABC, oh man, I'm not sure. I would say that this would be an aggressive ABC. C wave is smaller. I think silver could range a little bit longer, but ultimately, yeah, not sure if I could follow up here with that analysis. Exactly, Dupont. Yeah, that A wave is the only thing that makes noise. Dupont, very, very good on that triangle. okay, on the X wave. Still very, it is actually very, very valid. Very, very valid triangle here for that X wave. Very, very valid. Spot on, spot on. Very, very good. Much love, Andy. You just an absolute legend. A trader. Thank you very much for the kind words. Much love to you. What about the butterfly pattern there? Harmonics. I used to do a lot of harmonic before. If you are an OG of the channel, we used to talk about harmonic pattern a lot. We used to trade them a lot, especially Gartley patterns, which is the most common harmonic pattern. However, harmonics and Elliott wave theory go hand in hand. They both use Fibonacci targets, and once you go deep into Elliott wave theory, you realize that you don't need harmonics also. But yeah, I like to add harmonics once in a while. I used to use harmonic a lot, but butterfly pattern, I wouldn't know from what pivot you're looking at for that harmonic, what time frame. Butterfly harmonic. Matter of fact, here you do have a you do have a Gartley pattern here. Matter of fact, you do have a Gartley. This is the thing. Harmonics are very, very good. Very, very good. Yeah, there was a Gartley pattern here, right over there, from this pivot low to this pivot high. 7/8 Fibonacci. Coming down, I think there was a daily level here. Yeah, a daily level right there in this zone. Yeah, did have a nice nice harmonic pattern here. Anybody that's not aware of harmonics, we did have a Gartley pattern right over there. Bullish Gartley pattern. D wave comes down to the 7/8 Fibonacci, lower high on your C wave between 382 and 0.88, which would be this one right over here, and sweep up the low, 7/8 Fibonacci, and Gartley pattern up. First target zone has been hit, which is the 618 golden pocket from this high to this low. First target hit. Next targets is C wave and A wave. They don't have to be hit, but they are potential targets. So butterfly pattern, I can't I'm not sure if it's more internally or taking into consideration this pivot movement down here. Yeah, the symmetry is getting lost here for any harmonics. I'm not sure if you're talking about local butterfly pattern. I don't see one at the moment in this range. Let's go through comment section. It is comment section time. We've covered most of the 4 hourly, 1 hourly time frames on Bitcoin scenarios that I'm waiting for in the next 1 to 2 days. How will we develop? And only short for me here, was the SFP. We talked about this at the beginning of the stream. We might just take out that high for an SFP entry, just for a scalp, guys. This was the only potential scalp setup, right, on the lower time frames as we were streaming here, as an entry, wick the high end and get into a scalp short here. The only one that I saw that was available here on stream. Most of the other scenarios do take at least 1 to 2 days to see what is developing when we consider Elliott wave theory. That's been covered in the first hour of the stream. Anybody that is new and just joined the stream right now, the first hour was coming to the conclusion of what different movements can we develop here, and the only valid entry was an SFP from this pivot high with the value area high, which we've kind of got an SFP already moving down about $600. Great. These are great for stop losses. They're just great because you know, you wick, you take out the high, your stop loss is already glued to the top, right? And you know, risk to reward is very easy to be a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 risk to reward. You know, they're just great, these SFPs. We love SFPs, especially when we have a confluence, which in this case is value area high of the range, right? So let's go right away. When is Jerome the Gnome speaking? We have no idea when he is. What about ICP? Thank you. I haven't checked ICP. I am holding a bag of ICP. That's gonna have to be for the next bull run. I'm not very interested in altcoins at the moment. This Vegas Claw guy follows me around. I think he's a cool guy. FOMO longing at the top as it broke above. Now we go to all-time high. Same story over and over. Thanks for checking, Andy. Much love, Dupont. Great spot on that WXY. Bro, if this is a WXY or an ABC, is a 3-wave move, so that is corrective. So that means that we will be taking out 60k soon. Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, most of the scenarios point out that whatever is forming in this zone is highly likely corrective. Okay, obviously, you know, it's still in the damn range. What can we say, right? Range lows, range highs. It's but at the end conclusion here, despite today, you know, with this local price action, which was looking extremely correction from the last 2 days, right? Well, between Sunday basically and today, Monday, as this was developing. It just looks very, very corrective, right? You don't have an impulsive move here. You got 1, 2, 3, literally. There's no 4, 5s. You got this bounce over here that is really, really deep. So if this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, it's really getting close to this pivot. Yeah, literally hitting the 0.88 Fibonacci. Very, very deep for a wave 2. Very overlappy structure here. So when we do take a look at this price action, I mean, that's your high there. There's a lower high there. That's also deep for a wave 2. Yeah, just everything, all of this was very likely corrective. If it was going to be bearish, you're looking for a 1, 2, 1, 2. That's already very deep for a second wave 2. And then you have a lot of noise here. Lots of overlap as well. So yeah, it's just likely part of a corrective structure, which is looking for that move up. So today was looking a bit bullish to have the potential to take out this high. And right now we've only got this and this. So we need more information. Information has been provided on how I would like to see the price action develop in the coming hours to take that potential trading short. You know, I'm mainly looking for shorts at this point. Even today could have been an aggressive long. Mainly shorts. You did have a shot for an SFP here. I did have a shot for an SFP. I always talk about you as of the chart. But yeah, depending on how the price develops here between today and tomorrow, I think shorts are looking more interesting just because there is still high probability that all of this is corrective. You know, and at some point, you know, looking for a rollover to take out 60k. That doesn't mean that we could not hit, you know, 71, 72k plus, as explained. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, ABC, C wave has a 5-wave move up. You know, but end goal here is to take out this low at some point, despite of whatever happens here, if the range does continue. So it's all about detecting the 4, 5s as well in this region if you do continue to the upside. And if it breaks out with high volume, you know, as explained, the 1, 2, and, you know, developing a third wave here and a 1, 2, you know, another 1, 2, and then a 3 is just low probability. For the moment, you know, it's all about the probabilities. You know, I don't make the rules. Rules are written in textbooks. So you left Dubai exact date and time. Yeah, I have got some inside information. You knew something. I have some insider information. I had to get out before things were getting messy. Now I have to say it was pure luck. Pure luck, really. But I wouldn't be too... I would assume that things are going to settle down there in the next coming days. Okay, but you know, who knows? Yeah, at the end of the day, who knows? When will you TP that SFP, or will you try a run it a swing short? Yeah, the problem is here is I think we're very likely going to take out this high. Very, very likely going to sweep up that high again. So, you know, this SFP was likely a scalp little short. If you make, if I'm making a 2-3 to 1 risk reward, I would already consider scratching 50% of that trade. I think we're gonna wick above those highs again, because it doesn't make sense with this price action to finish the high right over here and roll over at this point, because the combination that I have, one of them being somebody here in the comment section talking about that triangle finishing here, A, B, C, D, E. You're still looking for an impulsive move to develop here. The other scenario is the WXY, which is, this is W, that's your wave X. Y would be a flat, regular flat coming down, B wave, 0.9 Fibonacci. You got 1, 2, 3 for the moment, so you're looking for a 4 and a 5, diagonal or not. Would be rare to finish a high here and roll over, but just because I don't have any other pattern combination, so I do think that wick high is going to be tested again, based on in most of the scenarios that we have combined from this range, and especially this local range. Wouldn't make sense to finish this high here and drop down. So yeah, as explained, we'd treat it as a scalp. Scalp, you're looking at the 1 minute time frame. You move down $500. It's not looking for a big move, but can it turn into a swing short? I mean, absolutely. It might, right? Maybe in a few hours we end up nuking down from here. Then we'd have to figure out how did we finish here, right? Which I don't have a scenario really for this to be the high when I'm combining this and this. A larger triangle still could develop. I mean, this is the thing, right? When we're talking about triangles, maybe that's the high right there, and maybe this is yeah, I mean, this is still very possible. This is your A wave, your B wave, your C wave, your D wave, and your E wave. Maybe this triangle extends a little longer. That's still possible. So yeah, that's the thing here, right? If you get that move down right throughout the next couple of days, that maybe we're just stretching the triangle here, and then it ends up rolling over. It's still valid. This is the problem with triangles, right? We've invalidated one internal triangle here, but the triangle could extend as long as you remain below the A wave and above this B wave. So we're just going to have to see how the price develops here. But that would be if this is the high. If this is the high and we roll over, I would say, well, we're extending the triangle and we just end up breaking down later on at some point. Right, so somebody asking about that SFP. Yes, this complete C. Can Y not be a 333? No. A Y wave can be a regular zigzag, Okay, so when you're looking at a Y wave can be inside of a WXY, can be a zigzag, okay, which is a 5-wave move up in an A wave, corrective structure in a B wave, 3-wave structure can be a zigzag WXY, and then your C wave, of course, is a 5-wave structure. In a simple zigzag, it's 5, 3, and 5, not 3, 3, and 3. It could be a flat. Okay, A, B, C. Your A wave is 3, your B wave is 3, your C wave is 5. Or it can be a triangle, which is developed by 3, 3, 3, and 3. These are the Y waves, either a triangle, a flat, or a zigzag. And of course, a zigzag is 5, 3, 5. That's what a Y wave can be inside of a WXY. Wonder if we can break upwards. I wonder if Devil shorted. I'll let you know. Because he might be active in the community at the moment. Could have it. Yeah. Anyways, pointing out here that, pointed this out on the stream about this SFP. But yes, I can see he did. Yeah, did attempt one right there. If you are interested, guys, the trading community, Devil is extremely active. I'm going to be more active, of course, now because I've just moved from Dubai here. I've been 2 days already settling. Weekend came up, but I will be extremely active looking for internal setups myself. And if I do see something that is very interesting, I will just let the community know, okay? That's where we do share daily analysis and our personal trades, such as Devil and myself. And if you are interested, just send me the word access, guys. You only need to sign up throughout one of the affiliate links, okay? Minimum deposit for your own trading, and we can get you a few months here inside of the trading community, okay? Just send me a DM with word access. We can sort you out. Shorted BCC at 69.5, absolute legend. 69.5. I would consider, an SFP as an SFP. It's you do not. I mean, well, you can trade however you want, but if you enter an SFP, the sooner you enter on the rejection, the better, because this could be an SFP and you're still continuing down, and you say, right, I missed the short here. So because we are rolling down, I'm just going to short now, right? And stop loss is it. You can already see the risk to reward, you don't know exactly where the target is going to be on these SFP scalps. So these internal scalp SFPs, the best thing is, with my experience, is you need to enter, soon. You don't want to enter when the price has moved down already $500, and it's just not worth it. The risk is much better once you get in on the exact touch and rejection. You have a few seconds, literally, right, for the execution. Sometimes you have about a minute or two on the lower time frame. But I don't want to enter down here already when the price has moved down almost $1,000. You want to get in relatively tight. It's a scalp. You're looking at the very low time frames. You SFP, you take out the high, you get below. It's a sniper trade. Risk management are very, very good on these trades. They're very, very good, these risk management setups. So, if you didn't enter and the price has moved down already $1,000, it doesn't become that attractive. If you're late, you're late, right? If you're late, you're late. If you enter late, you are at the risk of, people that entered the SFP, about, I don't know, half an hour ago. Some people will get stopped out at break even. If you entered late, you're going to get stopped out at a loss. It's the same trade, but the management was different. right? You entered late. So if it's a missed trade, it doesn't matter. There's another trade around the corner and you just look for another one, right? So but I do get the feeling of, oh man, you know, should I enter, should I not enter? And then the price is moving down a few $100s and you're like, oh, you don't get. If you missed it, you missed it. It doesn't matter. There's another trade around the corner today, tomorrow, maybe in 2 days, right? So you changed the channel name, yes, because we are combining forces, myself and Devilt, okay? And obviously my name was in there, so I had to get my name out. It's not fair to just be Andy. And Devilt is also on the channel. So we've combined forces. It's me and him right now, just to make something different. We've combined forces. He's an absolute legend. He's very, very good. We have very similar way of analyzing the market. If it would have been completely different, looking at, market cipher and money flow and other things, then I would say, maybe it's not that great for a combination. But because we are very similar and we see the same things, and sometimes I don't see it, sometimes he sees it, we just combine forces, and we're a great duo, in my opinion. You can confirm that. Maybe you don't like it, but I would assume so that you do. We have a very, very well. We basically cover Elliott wave theory, and it's just right. We just follow the guidelines of Elliott wave theory. Elliott wave theory is Elliott wave theory. If you do it correctly, it doesn't matter if it's myself, Devil, or any other guy. It's you need to follow the rules. So it's what we want you try to detect them, right? Sometimes I don't see everything, right? Somebody pointed out about, I actually was not aware of that, that triangle. Maybe I would have figured it out if I would have stayed later on doing my analysis, bit of background music. But it is very true that you can actually fit a triangle here. So yeah, I didn't see this at the moment, just because inside of this range, you still can combine many things. I don't like it too much because of the A wave, but it's very, very valid count, I have to say. It is a valid count. So maybe Devil would have spotted this, or maybe I would have spotted it, maybe Devil didn't, right? So, or maybe a guy on that's, has experience with Elliott wave also points it out, right? In the comment section. So this is what is good about bringing someone that has a lot of experiences and is on the chart every single day. We actually back up each other very, very well in that sense. Just popping in to smash up the like button, talking about the legend himself. Here he is. Andy, would you long the retest of the triangle? Would I long the retest of the triangle? I'm not sure if you're talking about this retest. I'm not in favor of this scenario. The retest of the triangle resistance as backtest as support. You got a fake out here. Would I long here? I assume that this is your question. I wouldn't. I wouldn't personally. It's not my style of trading. So if that is the question, that is the answer. I wouldn't long the backtest of that resistance support trend line. Devil the Legend, guys, he's doing the morning updates. He is very active. He's been very active in the last week, of course, with my move from Dubai to Spain as well. I've been very, very busy with moving stuff and sorting out paperwork and all sorts. So but I'm going to be very active inside of the community from now on, as I've settled in pretty nicely, and I managed to get out before all of the noise happened, right? In Dubai and the UAE, a lot of noise going on there, guys. I'm so happy. The thing is, I'm happy to get out because I literally left my house there empty, and I'm with 2 dogs as well. I'm with my missus and 2 dogs, and I'm going, to get my 2 dogs to also import them to Spain. And it would have been a bit of a mess because you need to get that, vet certificate. You have 7 days to leave the country and all of that. And it would have been a little bit of a little bit of a headache if, would have been stuck there right now as I was trying to exit the country. But it all played out very well. Thank God. Thank God for that. Anyway, for Starmy, how are you doing? How does one get on board with you as a teacher, doing EditWave for 5 years and would love to join you and Devilt helping others, or Devilt trading if you want to answer. How does one get on board? It's super simple. It's basically the trading community on Telegram. You got the first link down below. Okay, send me a DM, and obviously, just to support, we ask the people to join one of the affiliate links down below and do a minimum deposit for your own trading, and we hop you inside of the trading community. We answer questions, we post daily updates. Devil also posting when he and myself currently right now have been pretty absent the last week on setups, but we look for opportunities and we share them inside of the trading community on the Telegram, so it's super easy to access. It's the first link down below. Send me a DM and we'll share the instructions basically. Distance Music, much love to you. I can see Distance Music, many live streams joining. Anyway, for the moment we're down $1,000. Whoever got into that SFP, it was a very, very valid setup, I have to say. Not on its own because of Elliott wave theory, but because of the confluence, volume profile, value area high. It's a major pivot high. This was screaming for a little internal SFP entry scalp. It was screaming basically just because of the confluence of value area high. Right, not every pivot is a good SFP. This one did not SFP. Not that I would have seen this as a major SFP level, but this one was because of the overall value area high of the range of the last 3-4 weeks. Right, so XRP rejected trend line. Interesting. I'm telling you, Andy, use XRP as confluence. XRP is boss when it comes to confluence. Viking, interesting, yeah. I think still Bitcoin is boss, not XRP. That's my opinion, of course. Andy, you look tired. Hope moving went well and you're getting your rest. I'm in the process of that. Thank you very much for the kind words. But yeah, a little bit tired. I've had a pretty hectic weekend, a lot of visiting friends and family, back again, super happy, and doing the old fiesta. But yeah, getting some rest. I'm getting there, but everything is going to be rolling from now on. It is Monday, and great start of the week, and just happy to be back at home. So yeah, I'm going to be really going to get my sport back again. You need to go for my jogging, running, eating healthy. When you're traveling and moving out, yeah, that's a little bit of a barrier to get my physical activities done, and eating healthy as well, right? Sometimes, there's no time for that, and you could just eat, a pie from wherever. Just give me that. I need to get some fuel inside of me, but that's over. Time to eat healthy, do a little bit of sport, and get the trading rolling again. This week, as I'm already settled. Weekend is over, so it's time to be very, very active. I think there's going to be some major good opportunities as explained on today's stream. A little bit of more information needed here. I mean, well, this is a valid short, so valid entry short for a scalp, but I think we need a bit more information based on the bigger moves. I'm still in favor of that bigger move down. However, we need to see how this develops still in the next coming days. Okay, obviously the trading community will have priority on that. If we're not on YouTube, Devilt as well, providing those updates. If he's not on YouTube, he's in the trading community, of course. So if you want to know more about what we're looking for, and if we're not on YouTube, we are here in the trading community on the Telegram. You can always tag us, right, and ask us questions and share the charts. Do we get this? Do we get that? Are we looking for shorts here or longs there, right? We're always around, and you can tag us inside of the Telegram. Legends, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you very much for joining. TP, please, in short. About the TP, I would say let's take a look at the session VWAP. Maybe it does get a little bit of a move down to the session VWAP. That is very much a possibility. Session VWAP, where are you? Still very, very low. High volume here. Yeah, I mean, as explained, I mean, this has already made a 2-3 to 1 risk to reward, depending on where you entered, right? You're sweeping up these higher lows. This is a zone where the price, little order blocks on the 5-minute time frame. You know, as you sweep these higher lows, you can get a significant bounce here already. So these higher lows locally, this was a scalp, okay? This is not one of those trades that you look to enter and, you know, you're like, this is the one that's going to 60K. This is a scalp entry. Look to sweep up some local higher lows. And, you know, as explained, the best thing that you can do on these aggressive scalp entries is, you know, collect, you know, 50% of profits, protect position, and leave a runner, of course. And if we do get a sign of weakness in the next couple of days, where this turns out to form an impulsive move down, right, and then a corrective bounce, you know, we can always add to that position safely to build up a bigger position, right, if that were to be the case. But this is only a scalp. I would already consider taking, you know, plus 50% of that scalp short entry. I think it makes sense to take out this high again, in my opinion, based on the information that we have. It makes sense to take it again. So leaving a runner, being protected, is always not a bad idea. Legends, thank you very much. Thank you. Take care, Andy. I will be back tomorrow. I'll be back inside of the community, of course. Tomorrow morning, I am the one that's going to be very active inside of the trading community. Let's see if we can get some scalp entries tomorrow morning inside of the community. Something that we can talk about also on the stream to see if those setups have played out or stopped out. You know, I'm very, very much happy to talk about stop losses as well. We do talk about stop losses. I can't remember the last stop loss that was a hit, but we do talk about stop losses as well eventually, guys. It's not only winners. we get stopped out as well, but we manage risk. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining and smashing up the like button. Hope you have a fantastic evening, and I'll be back tomorrow with more. Thank you. See you tomorrow.